This Sober or Slammer 200 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. That's right. Cody's not here today. Cody is on assignment. Cody is being loaned to the Eagle Raceway and enjoying himself some racing this weekend. Calling some racing too, by the way. He's turned into a prolific pit reporter and just a guy that everybody goes to try to grab the great sound bites for the track. So, Cody, our thoughts are with you, and I am Rod Villagomez, and we are here today to speak of trucks. We decided to make a pivot for this week because, again, you know, with the odds being a little bit crazy and not coming out on time, we did the Xfinity episode for its own episode, and then it was like, well, you know, do we do DFS or do we do trucks and DFS? And so we just decided, you know what? We're going to make one clean episode on trucks, and we're just going to call it good. So Cody's giving me his slate, which, by the way, if you are a regular listener of this show, you know that Cody tends to go so crazy on the bets. No, I'm just kidding. Cody tends to love the books and love what they're offering. It gives plenty of it. This time, though, he took it easy on me. He sort of just gave me a thin little sheet here, a thin little card to break down for him, and kind of gave me some softballs, to be honest with you. So thank you, Cody, for that. I know you're listening to the show because you're always curious to see how much I flounder without you here, because I guarantee you right now, this has been a two-person show for a reason. Definitely need me some Cody Zeeb in the bullpen to help bounce ideas off of. But I've got you guys out there right now talking to me. JDK saying afternoon fella. Normally it's afternoon fellas, but it is afternoon fella today. Jess saying, hey, Rod, where's the Blues Clues? Oh, Jess, I totally blew it on this one. I totally forgot. Well, okay, first and foremost, Jess, let's put it this way. It is like 6,000 degrees in California right now and in this office. So if I were to wear that sweater, I would probably be a melted pile of just goo by the time I was done with this show. So you guys would not have been able to make it through this episode watching me just slowly melt away. So I apologize for that. And then on top of that, tried to score myself some major dad points last night. Took my daughters to their very first concert. By the way, we went to go see Big Time Rush, and I'm a Rusher. I did love the show when I was watching it with the girls. Hashtag girl dad. You just gotta embrace what you're watching, and I absolutely fell in love. The music is great. The concert was fantastic, and it was an electric atmosphere. So I'm basically running off of fumes at this point, just because of the fact that I didn't get home until very, very late last night, or even early this morning. So, and then had to proceed to get back to the adult world too, which, by the way, we made them go back to school the next day. And we said, you know what? get ready. This is how your life is going to be when you go experience fun things and, going out and paying the price the next day coming back. Boji Joe saying, watching on YouTube and MSN, no Cody. No, Boji Joe, there's no Cody today. Jess, thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, Cody's out there doing the pit reporter thing this weekend for a bunch of great races today. I know he's going to have a blast out there. So we are missing him for sure, brother. I need you back. So next week, tell them that you can't play with them anymore. Your obligations are here. But I am here, and I'm here to speak to you about trucks. Like I said, we're doing the truck race today. DFS, we'll put them up on shorts over the course of the next couple of days. That way you have some DFS plays. Sorry if I'm just patting my head for those of you watching. I told you it's hot as balls out here right now. So there's just no way. It's difficult to make it through. But I will tell you what's not difficult. Entering the free roll football contest. It is back. It's free to enter. Picking every NFL game against the spread. $3,000 to first place. $4,000 if you are a Patreon member. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. And plus, we got 25% off of everything in the merch store using that promo code football. Make sure to check out some of our favorite racing gambling podcast stuff. I've got my awesome racing gambling podcast mug that I use every single day. Not every day, because I balance it out with the SGPN mug that I have as well. So those two mugs I circulate between. I love it. Keeps the coffee the right temperature, which is hot. And then, of course, if you are somebody that likes to wear stuff, there's hoodies, there's shirts, there's all kinds of stuff going on in that merch store. So go check it out. 25% off everything with the promo code football. And SGPN just launched their NFL Survivor Contest. $100 entry. Winner takes all. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. All right, check in here again. Boji Joe saying trucks. Jess is in the house checking out the trucks. Just say there's a piano man to stop there. We'll get there in a second there, Boji Joe. Nick Fortune, afternoon. Hot Rod, missed you on the OFF podcast last night. Yeah, I know, Nick. It was a matter of, do I take my kids to go watch a concert or talk football with you guys? It was a very, very close battle. But my kids would probably disown me if I would have, done a podcast and not gone to the contest. Or not gone to the concert. So had to pick them. So apologies to everybody out there that didn't get to hear me talk about the NFC West on the Old Fashioned Football podcast. And of course, to Nick and to Justin as well for that. All right, here to talk trucks and the Sober or Slammer 200. Kind of a fun little name for a race set for 147 laps around this 1.366 mile paved track for 200.802 miles around the Darlington Raceway. Again, this is part of a Saturday double header with the Xfinity Series, as you'll get the race in the morning and then you'll get the race in the afternoon. Just keep in mind that all of the Xfinity folks are going to be out in Portland, while the trucks and the Cup Series are going to be out there in Darlington. And of course, this is the beginning of the truck playoffs. So no Cup guys, first and foremost. So keep that in mind as you start building your cards. And second of all, this is a race where, not very many races left for this truck series. All these playoffs go by very, very quickly. And all these guys are going to want points. They're going to want to advance. They're going to want to be, there's going to be a lot of hotly contested racing, especially on Darlington, right? I mean, this is the track too tough to tame, the lady in black, you name it. That track has earned the nickname for it. And these trucks, we've seen all season long, these trucks, there's no hold barred for these guys, right? They are definitely out to take what they can get at all costs, right? And then we've seen the craziness happen with Corey Heim, having pianos fall on him, obviously Ty Majeski, the piano man as well. So, this is the beginning of the playoffs marks a very interesting time in any sport, let alone NASCAR, because as somebody, so the expert sucks if in our Discord, this is a shameless plug for the Discord as well. Get in there, SGPN or sg.pn/Discord rather, and check it out. Our NASCAR channel is in there. And then, expert sucks was in there and saying, I'm a newbie. So the playoffs are happening. Why is everybody in the race? Well, again, this is one of those rare instances in sports where the playoff contenders are competing against everybody else as well. Everybody's still in the field. There's just playoffs going on alongside of them, right? So one bad back marker can take out the rest of the whole field and blow a playoff driver's chances and just screw a guy's day. And really that driver that had nothing to do with the playoffs is just going to drive right off and go along with their day. Whereas the playoff guy is going to have to deal with the implication of the fallout. So this is, like, again, one of those rare instances, if you're not truly familiar with the playoff system in NASCAR, it really is a unique opportunity for some of these other drivers, because other drivers can still win races. I mean, this isn't just only playoff drivers can win races. No, anybody in the field can still win the race. Playoffs are just seeded based on how well you've done against all the other playoff drivers in the field. So with that being said, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of these drivers in this as well. Looking down the list of drivers in this one, Steven Malzoni is driving the number 2 car. So that is, or new 2 truck rather, for Rayun Racing. Malozzi. See, this is why you need to practice beforehand. That's in there as well. Corey Day driving the 7 Spire truck as well. Stefan Parsons driving the 20 truck, 33. Mason Maggio is in that one. Andres Perez back in the 44. Caden Honeycutt, remember, driving the 52 for Nice, or no, not for Nice. Wrong name. Driving the 52 now in place of Stuart Friesen. See, that's how you get there. 77, Corey LaJoy is in this one as well. So some notable names in the field. But again, any of these guys can win. Any of these guys can place all over the place. So definitely, listen, this is a great time in the truck series, because as we get to the playoffs, intensity heats up. And then John checking in saying Hot Rod is a soloist. Yeah, I am. Unfortunately, like I said, Cody had to take this. I left him a couple of weeks ago. He returned the favor and left me to be here all alone. Remember Rostain? I think we're talking Chastain. Yeah. Dean Thompson's mustache had fast till he mustached himself. That is so true. Boji Joe wants me to go to a sponsor already. Give me another name for a thesaurus. Isn't that already? A thesaurus is where you find other words for other things. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, yes, we are here to talk trucks. Like I said, Cody gave me his card, so I'll be talking through that as well. And I'll have my card for you as well. And you know what? I think I will exactly do that. I may go to a break here real quick, but you're going to watch me tap dance as I do. All right. Let me get to my bets and Cody's bets and all that. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. Yes, sir. Well, that's rhythm. How about MyBookie? That's what we want. MyBookie. You see it, Cody? The world falls apart when you're not here as well. We are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. It's your home for NFL and college football. MyBookie's $100,000 NFL Super Contest. You only have a $15 entry, and they're offering buy 2 entries, get 1 free. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. I introduced you the other day to my new favorite sport that I'm going to follow just religiously, Kabaddi. And that's right, Kabaddi's happening tomorrow, where the Teluga Titans taking on the Tamil Talibavas. Let's go. I'm going to take those Titans plus 177 on the money line to win against Tamale. So there it is, Kabaddi. Find it on mybookie.ag. Use promo code SGPN. You're going to get a $100 bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. It's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. Now let's talk to you about rhythm. NFL's back. It's getting there. We are so doggone close to the regular season now. Last season, Rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19 on over-unders, but they really shined on player props. How about Tyreek Hill? 13-5 on Tyreek Hill props with a 31% ROI. I'm not good at math, but I feel like that's pretty damn good. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, college football. Go to the site today. Start building your NFL models for week 1. And in the meantime, get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right. Yes, indeed. See, Cody, even the pros can screw up when you're gone and trying to do the ad reads and everything else flying this ship. So, all right. Darlington, the lady in black, the track too tough Tame, has 1,000,001 nicknames, but it is the place where the trucks will start their playoffs, and I will start our betting card. I'll go with Cody's first. Cody is giving you Daniel Hemrick over Rajah Caruth. Somebody up here said it earlier. Boji Joe said Daniel Hemrick will be good too. Well, Cody seems to think so, and honestly, this is more, I think for him too. I know that he definitely loves him some Daniel Hemrick. He loves him the 19 truck as well, and rightly so, right? I mean, last week at Richmond, a 33rd place. That was a really rough day for a lot of drivers in that field. But before that, a 2nd place in Watkins Glen, 7th place at IRP, 9th at Lime Rock, 5th at Pocono, 4th at Nashville earlier. And kind of Nashville is what I was using as, I don't want to say a comp track because there's really no comp track to this, but in the 1.33 miles range, right? I mean, the length of this track is similar to the length of Darlington. Maybe not the way that it's shaped, obviously, because there's no minnow pond in Nashville, but definitely at least in the length. But he did finish 4th in that race, 8th at Charlotte, 4th at North Wilkesboro, 2nd at Texas, 3rd at Rockingham. A lot of great finishes for this 19 truck this season. Raja Carruth, it's been a mixed bag for him too. His average finished 15.6 this season. I mean, you look at what he did in Nashville. He won at Nashville, which is kind of where the only thing that make you pause, I suppose, against a Raja Carruth versus a Daniel Hemrick, in that he did claim a win at Nashville. But since then, since that day in Nashville, 31st at Michigan, 10th at Pocono, okay, 21st at Lime Rock, 10th at IRP, okay, 32nd at Watkins Glen, 19th at Richmond. Really, again, all told, he's only got 9 top 10s in 18 starts. That's 50% top 10 rate for Raja Carruth, 72% top 10 rate for Daniel Hemrick. So even if you're just balancing out the number of where they're at, right? I mean, this is a instance where Daniel Hemrick should have a better day. And then, of course, you look at Raja Carruth's starts on this track in particular at Darlington. He's got a 6th place finish in the 24 truck back in 2023. However, crashed out of the 2024 race and ended up finishing in a very, very bad 30th place finish in that. Daniel Hemrick obviously has not been a Truck Series driver for a little while because of being in the Cup Series for a hot second. So when you talk about him at Darlington, there's really no Truck Series starts at Darlington for Daniel Hemrick. So again, he's driving a good truck, right? Whereas Raja Carruth is too. But Raja Carruth has struggled a lot, where Daniel Hemrick's been a little more consistent this season. So I back Cody on this play. It's Daniel Hemrick over Raja Carruth. Bet 365 has this at minus 125. So that is where he is going to start his card. I'm going to turn my attention to that number 7 Spire truck in Corey Day. The world loves them some Corey Day, right? He's already got 5 Xfinity Series starts this season. He's got 7 Truck Series starts this year. And here's the thing about him, man. I mean, he just definitely is really, really fast, and he's getting faster, right? So obviously he starts on the pole in his very first race at Las Vegas in the Truck Series, but finished 27th in that race. Homestead, he finished 15th. Martinsville, 32nd. Bristol, he finished 15th. Rockingham, 22nd. But whatever happened before that, that 7 truck has made itself a lot faster as of late. 5th place finish in Nashville, 2nd place at IRP. And Nashville, again, that's the one where I'm saying distance-wise, this is where I'm sort of comparing to what's going on. So I'll take that as sort of a really just a very close comp track, because I don't necessarily enjoy 100% saying comp track, especially at Darlington. So, but in a one, he just finished 5th over there in Nashville, which is a really solid finish for that 7 truck. And I feel like he can do this again. And the best part about it, he's minus 105. So he's actually the underdog in all of this to Ben Rhodes, and for good reason, right? Ben Rhodes, obviously a really solid driver all the way through, but this season, average finish of 14.3, not necessarily what you're expecting out of a Ben Rhodes. However, we will say, and Cody will say, that this is a playoff Ben Rhodes, which is a little different because Ben Rhodes seems to kick it in the playoffs, but he's going to have to kick it pretty hard because as of late, 8th place finish at Richmond. That's okay. 26th at Watkins Glen, 11th at IRP, 4th at Lime Rock, 18th at Pocono, 4th at Michigan, 14th at Nashville. This is where Corey got him in Nashville. So 5th place for Corey, 14th at Nashville. Look at 23rd at North Wilkesboro, 11th at Kansas, 6th at Texas, 32nd at Rockingham because the steering snapped, 5th at Bristol, 5th at Martinsville. Okay, that's good. But 14th at Vegas. Like, again, this is not the consistent Ben Rhodes that you expect to see, and yet you figure that he's going to finish well. But Corey Day's been pretty much doing a lot better as of late, and I think that momentum from the 7 truck, and I think that momentum from him as he's figuring this out. Because remember, he's still young, right? This is just a young kid trying to come up through this series, and he's got a lot of pressure on him to perform, right? He's got the golden child of Hendrick Motorsports. He's the golden child of Kyle Larson, right? Then the next anointed one. And so I feel like this is the opportunity for Corey Day to continue to shine. You look at what Ben Rhodes has done on this track in his career. Not bad. I mean, honestly, he's got 6 starts, but he's got 3 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a win. Although, I mean, look, he got a 3rd place finish last year in 2024, but before that, 18th, 25th, 34th before his second and his win. So, I mean, he got his win on his first track appearance here in 2020, but since then, that 2nd place was good, but 34th, 25th, 18th, finally found it again last year with the 3rd place finish. But I'm not feeling it for Ben Rhodes right now, whereas Corey Day is riding a hot hand. Boji Joe says, give me Matt Crafton over Ben Rhodes as well. I mean, look, again, it's a matter of, well, Matt Crafton, obviously, this is it, right? I think he announced that he's retiring, so he's going to try to go out in a blaze of glory and prove that us old guys can still get it done, and hopefully he can. But Boji Joe also saying, any guy who gets drunk on 2 beers, Ben Rhodes, I'm out. Hey, man, nowadays there's some pretty strong beers. So if you get drunk off of 2 9%ers, I think you're doing okay, especially in there's pretty strong beers out there. So Sodi and Cody actually put a little parentheses underneath this bet. He says, Cody says, hammer this. So this one got Cody's seal of approval as well. Day over Rhodes, -105. TK checking in saying Ben Rhodes probably better at saving equipment, but Day has more potential for real speed. And honestly, too, because think about it this way, right? This Corey Day, one of the guys that I was talking about that has no skin in the playoff game. And so he's just going out to try to win this race. He's just going out to try to log the best finish that he can. He's not worried about points. He's not worried about anybody else around him. He literally just needs to go out and have himself a fantastic race. Whereas, guys like Ben Rhodes, this is where you have to be careful. You can't get caught up in all kinds of other people's stuff, right? Ben Rhodes sitting in the playoff spot here. Actually, he's not, is he? Hold on. Wow. I just assumed that he was in, but he's not in. Ben Rhodes not in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. He doesn't have anything on the line either. He just got to go prove, but he's still going to go out there and try to do it. Let's see. NASCAR Gambling Podcast checking in saying, Rod, I can't hear you because it's loud at the racetrack, but you're doing great. Make sure everyone bets on the Huskers tonight. Build a bigger bankroll for the trucks. Ha! Hi, Cody. Everybody wave hi to Cody out there. Cody's out there keeping an eye on us, keeping us honest. And Cody would have told me right off the bat that Ben Rhodes was out of the playoff mix because I have the playoff standing sitting right here. And this is what happens when Cody's not here. I don't get to fact check myself as I'm talking. I'm just left to my own devices. But all right. Cody is going out with his next bet. Talked about it earlier, that 52 truck of Caden Honeycutt now sitting in for one Stuart Friesen. And we know that Caden Honeycutt right there on the cut line, 2 down. It's Raja Caruth in 8th and then Caden Honeycutt in 9th. So Caden Honeycutt needs to go out and have himself a great day over in Darlington if he wants to continue on in the playoff hunt. Caden Honeycutt, one of those, again, it was just a weird season for him as he finds himself getting ready to go to another team. He's doing well. He's doing okay, right? He's got a string of great finishes between Kansas and Nashville, where he finishes 8th, 3rd, and 6th at Nashville. And then, has a tough day at Michigan, 21st, but a 3rd place at Pocono, and then 12th place at Lime Rock, and then a 14th place. And then they're like, hey, guess what, Caden Honeycutt? We hear you leaving. We're going to bounce you now. So you can just go ahead and find somewhere else to go. So he does. He goes to the 52 truck. Has a bad day at Watkins Glen. It's a road course. Kind of just say, man, okay. But then he has a 10th place finish at the other week at Richmond, which sort of redeems himself, right? It sort of gives him a little bit of hope that he can take this 52 truck and actually do good things with it. And for Caden Honeycutt, he's just one of those drivers where every week we bring up his name, right? And Cody's giving him as a top 5 at plus 180 over there. So he's expecting him to get in the top 5, which, like I said, he's done a couple times, right? He did it at Charlotte earlier, 3rd place there. He did it at Pocono, 3rd place there. So a couple of top 5s for him, just barely outside of the top 5 at Kansas with an 8th place finish. Rockingham with a 6th place finish. Bristol started 22nd and finished in 8th. Nashville started in the outside pole and get 6th place. And, I'm kind of weighing a little bit on Nashville, saying that could be a track where you can look at as well. So I definitely like that. And then when you look at Caden Honeycutt, what he's done so far on this track, 10th place finish in that 20 young truck in 2023. So if he can pilot that 20 truck to a 10th place finish, I think he could take that 52 truck into a top 5 finish as well for Honeycutt. Boji Joe saying, I thought of Caden Honeycutt as you do Connor Day. Back on Caden. Yeah, we're back on Caden. I mean, that's really what it all is. It's finding and remembering when to jump on and off of these drivers when it comes to their streaks, because a lot of them end up being kind of streaky, where they'll go on a pretty long run where they're good, and then they'll have a couple of bad tracks, and the books will sort of adjust to that, and then you catch them sleeping, and then you back up on that. So Caden Honeycutt, top 5. It's a shorter odds one, but Boji Joe saying, I love Caden if he can save his tires. We'll see. Maybe he can save his tires as well. Andrew saying, you're late. It's all right, Andrew. Again, the great part about all of this is that you can jump back in and watch whenever you want to catch up on yourself. All right. Well, sing us a song. It's a Piano Man back on our card again. It's Ty Majeski. This time, though, I'm going to play it a little safe. I'm going to take him to win a group, right? Group A over on Hard Rock is where I'm going to take him, because Group A on Hard Rock is actually a pretty decent group for you to check out. So Group A in Hard Rock is Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski, Raja Caruth, and Daniel Hemrick. Now, we just talked about Raja Caruth, and we just talked about Daniel Hemrick, right? And how both of those guys have some pretty good, well, at least one of them. Daniel Hemrick has potential to do well. Raja Caruth, maybe a top 10, maybe a top 15. But, Ty Majeski, right? He is hanging on by a thread to a playoff spot, right? He's 7 to the good right now on the cutoff line. And yes, Boji Joe, Piano Man. You can't really not talk about him, especially in this particular race, just because he's Ty Majeski, and you know that Ty Majeski can do Ty Majeski things when given the opportunity. But then again, you never know what that actually means. Does Ty Majeski things mean go out and do well for himself, or does that mean he's going to go out and crash? Surprisingly enough, Ty Majeski yet to win a race this year. He's got 5 top 5 finishes, 11 top 10s in 18 starts, average finish of 11.8. But here's where I will point to where momentum really should carry into this for Ty Majeski, right? And maybe not momentum that takes him into the wall, but quite possibly momentum that can take him into at least a top 5 finish if the conditions are right and if everything falls for him as well. Pocono, 9th place. Lime Rock, 2nd place. IRP, 5th place. Watkins Glen, 7th place. Richmond, 2nd place. North Wilkesboro, 6th place. Nashville, 8th place. See, I mean, this is the thing about Ty Majeski. You get all of those great finishes out of Ty Majeski, but sometimes you got a 32nd at Charlotte. Sometimes you got a 33rd at Bristol. I mean, those are the things that you kind of hold your breath on. Pardon me. But you get a 10th place at Texas after starting 21st. You got a 14th place at Kansas. Pretty solid finishes. 15th at Michigan as well. So Ty Majeski, the upside is there to be a top 5, a winning car, a top 3 car, that as well as. But for Raja Caruth, I already talked about him earlier when I was building the case for Daniel Hemrick over him. I'm not seeing Raja beating Ty unless Ty really does hit a grandfather clock or a piano or some sort of thing falling out of the sky. And then for Grant Enfinger, this is the tough one, because you know how much I love me some Grant Enfinger. I really do. And we brought him up as a top 5 truck several times over. He's cashed it a few times. He's been one of the more solid guys that we could ever count on, right? He's got 11 top 10 finishes, 6 top 5 finishes so far this season. But again, if you just feel like Grant Enfinger, he's there and then he's not, right? You can't really, he's almost like the Joey Logano of handicapping, where sometimes you hype him up and he doesn't come through for you, and sometimes you just downplay him and he busts out a top 5 at long odds for you. So, but I'm kind of basing this also off of the last 2 attempts on this track for Grant Enfinger, and that is a 14th place finish in his last year in the 23, and then a 16th place finish last year in this 9 truck. He started 9th in 2024 and ended up finishing 16th on this track. So again, I mean, for Ty Majeski, like I said, it's just more his ability to be the good driver. Now, does it end the day like that? That's where you're kind of holding your breath. But Ty Majeski on this track, 2 top 5 finishes in 4 starts, 4th place in 2022, a 5th place in 2024. So he beat Grant Enfinger head to head last year. 31st place though. It's either piano or good finish for him on this track. 13th in the 45 truck in 2020, 4th in 2022, 31st in 2023, and then 5th in 2024. He did lead 36 laps in that race. But I still think Ty Majeski has the potential to beat everybody in this group. Plus 250 for Ty Majeski to win this group. Grant Enfinger coming in at plus 230. Raja and Daniel both coming in at plus 275. So, like I said, right there in the middle. But I feel like this is his group to win, and he needs to hold true if he really wants to get into the playoffs, because his margin is that thin. So he needs to continue to put in solid performances, and to beat all those guys, you're going to have to. And then, of course, if you think about it too, Carruth and Enfinger both in the playoffs, right? So, and they're actually right behind him. Grant Enfinger 4 to the good, Raja Carruth 2 to the good, and then Daniel Hemrick right above him by a point, 8 to the good. So, it's just a matter of he's got to stay in front of those guys to be able to score more points than them, and I think that's something that he can do. So, all right, Cody is going to his man Tanner Gray, Taylor's older brother. Yeah, I'm sorry, Taylor, or Tanner even. As one of the older brothers, I do feel for you, because when you get outshined by a sibling, it just hurts a little bit. But you are a good truck driver in and of your own right, and Cody today is going to take you as a top 5 truck. What can you say that hasn't already been said about Tanner Gray this season? He does have 3 top 5s. I will say that, and that's a little tough, but he's 9-1 for a top 5 on this particular race. You look back at what he did at Nashville, he got 16th. He had a 2nd place at Pocono earlier, a 13th place at IRP. So, I mean, I kind of feel like I wish Cody was here to make a better case for Tanner Gray, because this is one where I might go ahead and disagree with him on this one, because his finishes have not been all that great. But maybe Cody will point to the fact that he does have a 3rd place finish in 2023 in this 15 truck. He also has a 10th place finish last year after starting 5th. So, I mean, at 9-1, okay, here we go. Let me put on my best, Cody. Tanner, it's been kind of an up and down season for him, but at 9-1, should he go out and finish in the top 5? No. But stuff happens, and you can have Corey Heim having an engine blow up. You can have Layne Riggs and Ty Majeski just drive right into each other and blow each other up. And then you can have Daniel Hemrick kind of, pushing the brakes when he should be pushing the gas. And Tanner Gray just slides through and ends up for a 5th place finish. It's a long shot for a reason, but Tanner Gray has the potential to land himself in there like he did at Texas when he finished in 5th place, like he did at Las Vegas when he finished in 3rd place. Again, it's 9-1 for a reason, but Tanner Gray is a good enough driver and a good enough equipment that he should be able to get it done. Did I do good, Cody? Let me know. Let me know if I did my best Cody impersonation. But I'll say that it just, for me, I know it's 9-1, but very difficult for me to swallow this play, because Tanner Gray just way too inconsistent. Average finish this year of 16.5. Like I said, only 3 top 10s, 3 DNFs. He's got as many DNFs as he got top 10. So 9-1 for a reason, but Cody seems to think, and Cody will back himself up on this one, that it is a good play. Yeah, that's right. Kaboji Joe says, Rod, appreciate you trying to channel Tanner Gray for Cody. Let Cody be Cody. Yeah, I know. I tried. I did. I definitely wanted to make the case for him, because I don't want to come over here and just do like I did in that one show where I was solo and completely go down just really downed all of his plays. And he was like, damn, Rod, now I know how you feel about all my stuff when I'm not around. And I was like, yeah, I know, Cody. It happens sometimes. But all right, so for my next play, I'm going to take Gio Ruggiero as a top 5. This one is at 6-1 over on Bet ESPN. And Gio, okay, I just got done really just saying I'm not trusting Tanner Gray all that much. But I will say this, at the very least with Gio, right? For Gio, his average finish 12.5 this year in that 17 truck, right? So we know that obviously his teammates are fast. He is fast. He just has to learn and put stuff together. It's still his first year in the Truck Series. Can't say the same about Tanner Gray. And if you look at the last few finishes for Gio, pretty promising, right? 3rd at Lime Rock, 25th at IRP. That sucks, but he started 4th. I mean, there's some speed in qualifying for Gio. He just couldn't hold up. 3rd at Watkins Glen, but 6th at Richmond. That actually has me feeling really good about a possible top 5. 13th place at Nashville, that kind of sucks, but a 4th place at Kansas, that's a top 5 right there. 7th at North Wilkesboro, that was close. So he's been inside or around the top 5 in 3 of his last 4 races. And, we like to bring up the fact that, especially over the last 3 or 4 races here, a lot of different disciplines. And if you're still managing to find yourself in and around the top 5 in all of those disciplines, that's a really good day, right? 3rd at Lime Rock. That is a track. And then IRP, turn around 25th. Okay, Watkins Glen, that's a road course. And then Richmond is a short track. So all those different disciplines, still managing to find himself in and around the top 5. 6-1 is a really good number for him to try to do this again. I know. I'm taking the 17 over the 15. If they gave me a head-to-head between the 17 and the 15, I would take the 17. The truck vacated by the younger brother of Tanner Gray, Taylor Gray. So, 100% on the 17 truck. 35% on the 15 truck for this one. So sorry, Cody. Still love you to death. All right, we got plenty more to get to on the other end of this break, but I would first like to tell you officially about our friends over at Underdog. Underdog Best Ball Mania happening all summer long. They're giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trade. Best Ball is literally the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog's also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. I told you yesterday, I'm going to tell you again today. Max Verstappen, his projection is set at 3.5 for the Dutch Grand Prix. I'm taking the better than. I'm holding my breath. Obviously, he's won there. He's been on the podium every time. It's tough because this season's been rough for Max Verstappen, but maybe if there's one track that he turns it all around, this is it. 3.5 is his projection. I'm going to take the better than. You can too. Or you can take the worse than and fade me. That's fine. I have no ego. You can do that if you'd like. Underdog's they got a brand new offer for all of you new customers. Play just $5. Get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN. The world's greatest sports book, Circa Las Vegas, is hosting the world's biggest pro football contests. That's the Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Go sign up today in Nevada. You can play anywhere in the world with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com, use promo code SGP. Get $50 off of your proxy fees. The contest closes on Saturday, September the 6th, so get in there right now. All right, let's continue on down the card for this Sober or Slammer 200. Such a fun little sponsor to remind you that you're either sober or you belong in the Slammer. All right, well, I guess it would not be a truck race with Corey LaJoie in it if Cody did not have Corey LaJoie on his betting card. And yes, Cody has Corey LaJoie on his betting card. He's got him to win Group B over on Bet365. This is coming in at plus 260 over the likes of Tyler Ankrum, Ben Rhodes, and Trevor Bayne. I love this because he put this in parentheses, and I caught this just as I was putting everything together too. And he says, please note, he's never not finished top 5 with this mustache. So just so you know, the mustache is golden, and he's finished inside of the top 5, has Corey LaJoie every time with this mustache. So this is the mustache bet of the week for Corey LaJoie. I get this. I totally understand. He's got 2 races in the Truck Series, top 5 in both of them, a 5th place in Michigan, a 5th place at Richmond. So it's not as if he can't do this. It's not as if he doesn't have the talent to do this. And I really, truly, we've already talked about Ben Rhodes, right? And how we already aren't necessarily sure 100% on Ben Rhodes, and we're taking day over him. So I would probably take Corey LaJoie over him as well. So, it's just a matter of that's already one established person down. And then Tyler Ankrum, as of late, we used to just have Tyler Ankrum as an auto bet for a top 5. If they had top 10s, we would 1,000% hammer a top 10 for Tyler Ankrum. But it's just, it's almost the same sort of bravado that you take away from other drivers who have 11 top 10 finishes and 18 starts. Yeah, he's got them. And yeah, they've been solid. But, I don't know. Nashville, 17th place finish. Michigan, 24th. Pocono, 26th. Lime Rock, 10th. IRP, 8th. 5th at Watkins Glen. 11th at Richmond. He had that stretch early on, right, where he finished 3rd in Atlanta, 10th at Vegas, 4th at Homestead, 2nd at Martinsville, 4th at Bristol. He won Rockingham, 4th at Texas, looked unstoppable heading into Kansas, where he finished 16th, and then ended up finishing 3rd at North Wilkesboro. But then after that, fell on some hard times. 12th at Charlotte, 17th at Nashville, like I said, 24th, 26th, and 10th. I read those ones off already. So it's just, if you're talking about LaJoie having 2 for 2 in the top 5 already in this series, and he comes in just on fire, and he's driving that 77 truck again, that Spire 77. He's got nothing to lose. He's just there to have some fun. He's having a good time racing again, and he's stacking some more pennies so he can make another run somewhere else. So this particular group is pretty much ripe for the taking for Corey LaJoie, and at plus 260, it's definitely, I think, a good value for him. And like Cody said, he is 2 for 2 with this mustache. So can't knock those odds, and you can't knock that mustache mojo that he's bringing into the mix. All right, my next bet, I'm kind of stepping away from the drivers here in this instance, because I feel like there's a couple of, with the trucks, right, there's no top 10s, so you can only throw so many trucks in the top 5. And when you're talking about guys like Corey Heim, when you're talking about guys that are, let me read off some of these insane top 5 numbers and top 3 numbers for you. Corey Heim, minus 300 for a top 3 finish. Minus 300. I 1000% get it, right? If you are books, you do not want to get burned, because Corey LaJoie should be the fastest truck out there. He should be the one that's contending for the win. And in fact, to win, he's only plus 120 to win, right? Neither one of us have Corey Heim on our betting cards for anything, because the numbers are just so new. Top 3 on Caesars, minus 400, a top 5 finish for him, and minus 750. Layne Riggs, top 3, minus 145 on Caesars, top 3 plus 100 to win. I'll give you that in a second, but Layne Riggs plus 105 for a top 3 finish on Hard Rock. And whatever your book is, I'm sure it is equally as nuked for Corey Heim all over the joint, right? Kind of buried the lead when we came on, because since neither one of us really have Corey Heim and none of us are talking about Corey Heim, I guess now is as good a time as any as we set the rest of our card, because I'm talking about Ford versus Toyota in this one. And I'm going to take Ford at plus 110. Honestly, this is the Layne Riggs and Corey Heim argument, right? Because for Corey Heim, he should definitely be the fastest out there. He should definitely be the one that wins this race, because it's Corey Heim's time and everybody else is there. Boji Joe saying Corey Heim minus 300 equals bet the Whites SOZ to lose by 1.5 runs. Oh, the White Sox to lose by 1.5 runs. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's really where you're at, right? I know that a winning bet is always a good bet, but how profitable can that bet really be? But for Corey Heim, average finish this year of 6.4. He's won 3 of the last 4 races. Lime Rock, IRP, Watkins Glen, Richmond. I mean, if we say this every week, okay, and there's somebody in the comments actually earlier that said something about it's so hard. Most of everybody is wrong when they pick outright winners each and every week. And that's fine. I mean, I only did go, what was it? Like 3 for 7, or not 3 for 7, like 4 for 7 one weekend, or even 5 for 7 one weekend on outrights, but no one's counting, right? It's just a matter of, it's difficult to pick an outright winner unless it's Corey Heim. But here's the thing. Let's say I give you Corey Heim. Let's say Corey Heim plus 120 to win this race. Okay. Corey Heim goes out. He is out there and he's in front for 146 laps. And then all of a sudden, no brakes. All of a sudden, his engine falls to the floor. All of a sudden, a gasket blow. All of a sudden, something happens and Corey Heim is no longer winning this race and does not win this race. And then you come back to us and you say, well, you gave us Corey Heim to win the race and he didn't win the race. Well, if I didn't give you Corey Heim to win the race and he did win the race, then you'd be like, well, you didn't give us Corey Heim to win the race and he won the race. You see the position that puts us in? You got to make a call. And we're not telling you don't bet Corey Heim at plus 160. If that's the way you want to bet, That's the way you bet. And that's fine. That's perfectly, acceptable. And you don't need us to tell you to bet Corey Heim because he's the favorite on the board. It'd be a boring show if all we did was get up and talk about the favorite each and every week. So, do that with you will. But Ford versus Toyota in Caesars, they've got Ford at plus 110 over there. And honestly, again, this is because Layne Riggs has been one of the only drivers that's been able to give Corey Heim a run for his money this season. And the standings show it too, right? Corey Heim, 62 points above the cut line. Layne Riggs coming in at plus 23. Chandler Smith, also in a Ford, is at plus 16. And then there's two Toyotas in Hemrick and Ankrum, and then Ty Majeski in the Ford. Corey Heim, the only Toyota in the top 8 in the playoffs. Caden Honeycutt, obviously, in Toyota now, but Jake Garcia down there in a Ford in 10th place as well. A lot of Fords circling the wagons, right? So for me, this is more of just I'm taking all those Fords, and something's going to happen to Corey Heim, and then Layne Riggs is going to be sitting right there in the wings, waiting for this to happen, and ending up, look, and he doesn't have to win this race. That's the thing. Like a Chevy can win this race, right? Daniel Hemrick can end up winning this race, or somebody, one of the other Chevys out there. Tyler Ankrum can accidentally win this race. Grant Enfinger, Roger Carruth, any number of Chevys can win this race, so long as Layne Riggs is or any Ford for that matter, even if it's Ty Majeski, even if it's Matt Crafton, right? Any of these Fords, it doesn't even have to be Ty Majeski, even though, or Layne Riggs rather, even though I feel like it probably should be. Layne Riggs is the one that's going to be the top Ford, if not the winning Ford here, and I'll tell you that in a second. But I mean, like I said, Layne Riggs, one of the only guys that's been able to give Corey Heim a run for his money. Layne Riggs finished 3rd at Nashville. I know that didn't beat Corey Heim, who finished in 2nd, but one at Pocono did Layne Riggs, one at IRP, just finished 3rd at Richmond, finished 4th at Charlotte, 2nd at North Wilkesboro. Really solid runs for Layne Riggs. And like I said, I think he's going to be the one that gives Corey Heim a run for his money. And Boji Joe, listen, I'm going to talk about him in a second. He says Chandler Smith Ford. That is correct. And Cody's got something to say about him as well. But, again, even if it's Chandler Smith, right, this doesn't matter to me, right? This doesn't matter. Chandler could end up being the top Ford. He could end up being the winner of this race. And that would definitely cash this Ford over Toyota bet. So I'm okay with that. Look, and it doesn't matter to me either way, Boji Joe, for this bet. For this particular bet, if it's Chandler Smith over Riggs and Chandler's the one that beats the Toyotas in the field, then by all means, let's do it, because it doesn't matter to me which one beats which one. And honestly, too, I mean, look, the Toyotas in this field, it is Tony Breidinger, it's Corey Heim, it's Tanner Gray. Not scared of Tanner, not scared of Gio, little scared of Caden Honeycutt, not scared of Timmy Hill, right? So this really does come down to all the Fords versus Corey Heim. Which side are you on? I'm going to take the Ford side just because it's plus money, and it actually seems like a really solid investment. Should something happen to any one of those, Caden Honeycutt and or Corey Heim, right? That's who we're going for in that one. All right. Well, then it looks like Cody is going to double down on our Corey Day love, taking him as the top Chevy at 8-1. Look, I talked about Corey Day earlier and how he's just found himself a nice little run leading into the end of the series here. And look, I mean, he's gotten the hang of it. We forget sometimes that these guys, especially these younger drivers, right? The young rookies, the 18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, they come in with a lot of fanfare. They come in with a lot of people behind them, a lot of big names backing them. And so we instantly expect them to be the best drivers in the world, right? We expect them to come out and win 6,000 races. And look, I'll even own that for guys like Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar as well, right? These guys, they come in with a lot of fanfare. They win a lot of Xfinity races. They get a lot of accolades, and then they come up, to the other series, and they're sort of ho-hum, and you're like, well, what the heck's going on? And even guys like Corey Day, who are coming into the Truck Series with a lot of fanfare, and just it's been very difficult, obviously, to acclimate, as was his 27th finish at Vegas, his 15th place at Homestead, his 32nd at Martinsville. It was a rude awakening into the Truck Series, but he settled in. He's found himself a way to get a rhythm and to be good enough to be the top Chevy last time out at Indy, right? So his last time out at Indy, he was the top Chevy. Grant Enfinger was right there after that. And so again, Corey Day's proven that he can already be the top Chevy. In fact, he was the third Chevy in line in his Nashville race out there behind Raja, behind Daniel, and then Corey was right there. So again, this is a matter of he's inching his way up there. He did it last time he was out on the track at 8-1. That's a really good play for him to do it again. All right, my next bet, again, I'm going to kind of stay away from the driver's aspect of it and give you the winning car number of stage 1. I want you to cash early so you can have some live betting opportunities going. And honestly, this is more Layne Riggs finding his way to, because we know sometimes Corey Heim, he can probably lead from the start sometimes, but there's sometimes where these cars are faster than him at the beginning of the race, and they'll lead laps where Corey Heim won't, or maybe Corey Heim qualifies poorly. I know it's a kind of a long stretch that he qualifies poorly, but maybe he does, or maybe he has to go to the back. Something happens, whatever, right? And then Layne Riggs is sitting up there. Chandler Smith is sitting up there in the 38, Boji Joe, if that's more your speed, right? Maybe even Ty Majeski is the guy that's up there. Maybe Tyler Ankrum leads early and then falls back in the back of the pack and ends up winning stage 1. Any number of guys can do this, right? Where I think it just could be a matter of if one of them ends up playing the right strategy, if one of them ends up doing the right things, if one of them's just flat out faster than Corey Heim to start the race and they win stage 1. This is at plus 130 over on Caesars. So I really do like this angle of it. Because like I said, if Chandler Smith, Boji Joe, or if Layne Riggs ends up winning stage 1, well, then you've got a little extra money to live bet with, because I guarantee you that maybe Corey Heim would be at a solid number if he does not finish well in stage 1, and you can take him live at a pretty decent number. So give me the winning car number of stage 1, even at plus 130. Cody's outrights, well, he's giving you Chandler Smith at plus 700. So he's giving you Chandler Smith at 7-1. Chandler Smith, right? One of those guys that we talked about, just steady doing well in the Truck Series this year. Needed to find himself a home. Found himself a home. He's got an average finish of 9.9 this year. 2 wins on the season. One at North Wilkesboro, one at Bristol. So some shorter track wins on this one. An 8th place at Michigan, 7th place at Nashville, 7th at Pocono, 6th at Lime Rock, 6th at IRP, 9th at Richmond. So good solid finishes for him on some of these tracks that are, between a mile and between a mile and a half. So 8th place at Vegas, 8th place at Homestead, 4th at Martinsville, that win at Bristol. So Chandler Smith, obviously if we're talking about his teammate, then we're saying that he's going to do well. And I think Chandler Smith is also going to do well in this one. And I agree with Cody. In fact, this is one where I had Chandler kind of eyeballed, but I knew that Cody was going to want to bring Chandler Smith into this. So I backed off. I didn't take Chandler Smith because I knew Cody was going to put him in the card. So you're welcome, Cody. How's Chandler Smith done on this track in the Truck Series? In the 18 KBM truck, he finished 21st in 2022, finished 7th in 2021, 27th place the year before that when they were coming here twice, and then 23rd place in 2020. So not been his favorite track, but this season Chandler Smith has actually been running very well for himself. And, if anybody can hang with these guys, and he's not scared. We've seen that he's putting himself in a lot of pretty rough situations. Just like Boji Joe says, if he doesn't start last, he will win. TK saying Smith has been overshadowed by Riggs and getting off to a great start of the year, but maybe they turn it on now again. Maybe, right? That's kind of what they're hoping for Chandler Smith and for everybody out there. Chandler Smith, 3rd in the standings right now, playoff wise. He is 16 above the cut line. Him and Riggs, they're right there, 2 and 3. So you're right. It's kind of been overshadowed, but they've both been equally as good. And I'll tell you in a second why I think his teammate is going to win. Therefore, I also think that he can win as well. And then, wow, man, Cody really doubling down on this Tanner Gray love. 66-1 for Tanner Gray. I already did my best Cody impression for Tanner Gray. 66-1. I will let him defend this all the way. Maybe he'll put up a shorts later. Maybe he'll really make it to where I can back him on this one. But 66-1 for Tanner Gray to win this race. It's a long shot for a reason. If everybody else blows up in front of Tanner, slides right in there, or if Taylor jumps in and says, I'm Tanner now, and goes up and wins, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they switch out in the middle of the race, a la Connor Zilic and Parker Clearman. Oh, is that one too deep for so? I'm sorry, guys. Maybe that happens, and maybe the 15 truck wins with Taylor driving it. I don't know. I don't know how it happens, but it'll happen. 66-1. You won't care how it happens if it ends up cashing. So, and then look, Layne Riggs. This is why the dominance of Corey Heim sometimes works in our favor, right? We get prices like Layne Riggs at 4-1 at Hard Rock to do this. I know everybody's saying Chandler Smith over Riggs, and I get that, and I understand that, but you know, like I said, you look at what Riggs has done lately, and it just feels like to me he's got the more noticeable momentum. Overshadowing sometimes means that you're not doing the things you need to do to go over the top, right? Being there sometimes is not enough. You have to be out there, right? 2 wins for Layne Riggs also, but those 2 wins have come within the last 5 races, right? The first at Pocono, the first at IRP. And to me, that's riding momentum that you can't buy. You know, when you're a team feeling that good about yourself, riding into the playoffs, and you've dueled Corey Heim, like really literally outdueled Corey Heim to a couple of wins, then I think that's got a lot more going for you than Chandler Smith, who, yes, can win this race. Yes, talented enough to win this race. And Chandler, look, I know you're probably saying, well, what's this guy know? I don't. I've never driven a truck before. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. But I know what I see with my eyes. And it's just Layne Riggs has the more momentum right now. So I would definitely feel like Riggs could be the guy to win this race if Corey Heim doesn't at 4-1. Obviously, he would like to win in advance right off the jump and not even leave it to a shootout between him and Heim at the end. And I think you got to get it done when you got to get it done, right? And this is an instance where I think Layne Riggs has to get it done this week, because we're coming up just on opportunities for Corey Heim to just steal it, you know. And if you let him run away now, then you may be crowning yourself the next Truck Series champ before the playoffs are even over. So, yeah. So give me Layne Riggs at 4-1. Like I said, I talked about him earlier and about all of his upside, and I feel like he's the guy that can end up beating Corey Heim this week in a fair fight, or if something happens to Corey Heim, he's the next one waiting in the wings. So TK saying it would be pretty impressive of Taylor to travel from Portland to fill in for Tanner. It would be, wouldn't it? Be like the pit crews going out there as well. And then Boji Joe saying Cody is a Nebraska fan too, so go Tanner Gray. Also saying how many times Chandler has started last for truck season. But see, that goes into the mix, right? You have to count all of that. You can't just, I know we cherry pick all of our stats, right? Because we pick them to satisfy the end result that we want. That's what you do when you're predicting as well. But sometimes you do have to step back and take a look at the whole thing. Yeah, if he hadn't started, but why is he starting last? What things are happening that are causing him to are they in his control? Are they out of his control? A lot of them are in his control. There's a lot of things that have happened this year in qualifying for Chandler that have been in his control that he just hasn't been able to. So you got to put together all of it, right? That's what you look at too with the factor of okay, yeah, he could drive up through the field and be good, but why wasn't he that good in the beginning anyways, right? It's a matter of taking all that into account. So definitely, I'm not saying that Chandler can't do it, obviously, because if his teammate's truck is good enough to do it, he's good enough to do it too. And 7-1 for Chandler is a really good price because Corey Heim is priced the way he is, and he's pushing everybody else's price to a more manageable point. So with that being said, again, yeah, absolutely. Corey Heim should dominate this race, should lead every lap of the 147 laps around the Darlington Raceway. You know, tame the lady in black. He will do everything he needs to do. He'll tame the track too tough to tame and bring you home a win. But if he doesn't, that's when you need to have the opportunity. That's when you need to have these guys as insurance to sort of hedge yourself away from all that. So, all right, get out your pen and paper. Time to go over these bets. Apologies. I had my graphic set up ran long on a mission, couldn't get Cody set up. So just get out your pen and paper. We're going to old school on this one for the Sober or Slammer 200 Truck Series race from the Darlington Raceway. Cody started you out with Daniel Hemrick over Raja Caruth at -125 over there on Bet365. I gave you Corey Day over Ben Rhodes at -105 over on ESPN Bet. Cody's hammering this already as we speak. Cody then followed up with Caden Honeycutt as a top 5 truck at +180. I said Ty Majeski was going to win Group A over on Hard Rock. And if you want Group A and who's in that one, it is Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski, Raja Caruth, and Daniel Hemrick. And then, of course, Cody gave you Tanner Gray as a top 5 truck at 9-1. I said Gio Ruggiero would be a top 5 truck at 6-1 over on ESPN Bet. Cody said that Corey LaJoie would win Group B at +260 over Ankrum, Rhodes, and Trevor Bayne. And it's definitely taking the mustache into account. So please make sure you add that into your handicapping. I said Ford would finish better than Toyota at +110 over on Caesars. Cody said Corey Day would be a top Chevy at 8-1. I said the winning car number of stage 1 would be even at +130. Then Cody gave you Chandler Smith at 7-1 and Tanner Gray. See what I did there? At 66-1 to win the race. I said Layne Riggs at 4-1 would be my winner of the Sober or Slammer 200. That's it. That's the card, folks. We got through a Truck Series episode. Like I said, check out the YouTube channel. We'll be putting up our DFS plays there. And of course, as always, get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. I'm sure there will be some lively conversation swirling around about why I besmirched the name of Tanner Gray as Cody defends himself against my tirades against the 15 truck. So yeah, that'll be some fun conversation to have in the Discord. Well, that's it for the week, guys. So happy to have you, and always a thrill to be here with you guys. Cody's back next week. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be happy about that. I don't know if anybody other than my wife enjoys listening to my voice for an hour straight. And even then, sometimes it's a question of whether she likes it too or not. So, all right, we'll be back next week with a full slate of NASCAR action for you. But again, thanks for hanging with me for the last hour. Love you guys so much. Good luck on your trucks. TK saying, nice work, Rod. RVG. It's kind of funny. VG was my nickname in the Army for a very long time. So not an uncommon nickname for me. All right. In the meantime, follow Cody on Twitter at Husker_Zeeb. Tons of his stuff going on the socials. So much football, so much college football. Just tons of content from Cody. Sorry, bud. And sorry to Cody's wife. I got him started down the rabbit hole and it's never stopped. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. There is a link to the bio to everything I've got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you're checking out Seth and Elliott here just in a few. Actually, they're about to kick off in 12 minutes if you're watching live. And of course, they're already there if you're listening the next day on the In Between Media channel. They're going to break down Darlington for you as well. All right, that's it. Come on back next week as we break down more fantastic NASCAR action. And yeah, like I said, Cody will be back and you'll be happy again. Until then, let's go racing, everybody. Love you very much. And let it ride.